Hi, I'm Kim Sertovan, President and CEO of Youth Crisis Center. Youth Crisis Center was founded in 1974 as Florida's first runaway shelter, and today I'm proud to say that we have become the best known provider in care relative to serving children, families, and young adults in our community. The House of Hope is a unique program in our community where we are partnering with our local support system of Jasmine in Changing Homelessness, our local homeless coalition, to serve our community for those young adults that find themselves homeless and on the streets with nowhere to go. This program is one of a kind in the sense that it is gender neutral space. It will be a safe haven for those young adults, in particular those that are identifying as LGBTQ+. So we're very excited to be offering this opportunity now where we can provide crisis services with the information to be shared so that those young folks now can develop life skills, work on a transition plan for permanent connections in the community and safe housing, as well as mental health counseling services. House of Hope is needed in this community because statistically the national average of homelessness is 40% as it pertains to the LGBT community. And in particular in Jacksonville, that rate is much higher at 60% of the homeless population identify LGBTQ. And these young folks feel as if they need a safe space to go to, free of wait lists, immediate services, and not only for a provision of care for housing, but an opportunity for them to develop further skills for leading to self-sufficiency. House of Hope is geared for those young adults 18 to 24 years of age that are looking for safe space for them to begin the next chapter of their life for housing and permanency. In 2017, I met with the CEO of Jasmine and the CEO of Changing Homelessness to discuss referrals and opportunities to assist our community better in serving the homeless population. And when information was shared on the data relative to the percent of young adults who were homeless as it pertains to LGBTQ, the initiative started really to determine what model would best be fit for these young folks in a safe space. Youth Crisis Center at that time had an empty space that we could house for residential crisis care. And so we began to look around the state actually for other opportunities for successful programming, and found that the model that we were looking for was gender neutral, emergency crisis care with the specific services targeted at homeless young adults that would give them the tool sets necessary for them to develop self-sufficiency, to bring them out of homelessness, to bring them into a safe space for continual growth and the ability to obtain either employment or to finish their schooling, which would then lead to employment. And so we began to create a model that was to blend both of those needs, which really turned out to be a model that we had right here on our campus. We have our current residential crisis care program, but it is serving minors. We have a long-term housing model called Touchstone Village, which is serving 18 to 21-year-olds. And what we didn't have was the emergency shelter capacity to serve those homeless young adults. So it really is providing an opportunity for a continuum of care where we don't currently have that on our campus or in our community to lead these young folks to come off the streets in a safe space, be able to stay here for a short length of time, and really be able to determine what they need to work on in order for their next plan, which will be for permanent housing. After the program was developed, we then began to speak about opportunities to raise funds, to open our doors, to make the improvements to the space that was necessary. The space that House of Hope is in was built in the 60s, needed to be transformed into really a very inviting, safe, open capacity for these young adults now. And so through a generous donation through the Chartrand Family Fund, we were able to then begin looking at how do we recreate this space to be inviting for this population and for this program needs. Then we also looked at operational costs, we looked at budget, what was going to be necessary for this. It's a 24-hour supervised program. And so through a generous donation from Dolores Barr Weaver Fund as a matching grant opportunity, we then were looking at new opportunities for raising dollars to match up to $100,000 from Mrs. Weaver's request. And so I'm very pleased to say over 2018, 2019 that we were able to successfully raise those funds, not only through Mrs. Weaver and the Chartrans for the renovations, but also through the Jim Moran Foundation, through ViStar, FIS, and other funders in the community, Baptist Health and so forth. So this really has become a wonderful collaboration with our community that really shows the passion, the desire to open this program. We have had opportunities for individuals to adopt a room, which then led them to be creative in their own way of how to outfit each room with the basic needs that was very inviting. So it didn't look very institutional, but rather very home-like. Then we had an in-kind donation from Industry West to actually outfit the rest of the space through couches and chairs and tables for our cafeteria. And then other partners in our community to make sure that this program now is a safe space. It's an inviting space for helping these young folks get on their feet and improve their overall emotional well-being.